Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I'm the host of today's show. I'm also the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. And welcome to the show today, you guys. I haven't been live in 3-4 weeks, but I'm happy to be back. It's springtime. There's newness in the air. It's new beginnings. And with that said, I do have a special announcement to make. It's a little bit of a bittersweet announcement because, today will be my last live show under Talk for TV and W4HC.com. So I wanted to announce that and come on the show and do one more live show because I'm really grateful for Rebel and who produces this show behind this live screen that you see. I'm grateful for Dean. I'm grateful for the people that have supported me. I know that there's been people that have followed me live that I see on a continuous basis. I see the same names. So I wanted just to say thank you to those people. I really super appreciate it because I've said in the past that I know I'm not a big time podcaster name yet, but I really appreciate you guys following along. So there's already somebody chatting in, and I will get to all of your questions. I'm going to answer all of your questions. I just want to, like I said, start and preface the show that way because I thought that for fun, I would share a story and go down memory lane of my very first podcast episode, and then we'll get into today's tips, which I feel like the story is going to weave into these tips. So I've been podcasting under Talk for TV, you guys, since 2018. I feel like it's almost like 2017. It might even be 2017, but I'm going to say 2018. So in 2018, I was a different person. I really was. I was married at the time. For you guys that follow me, you know that I was in this relationship. And my book wasn't published. It wasn't out. It was just a thought. It was an idea. And I don't even know. I was trying to think of how I got to this platform, and somebody, it must have been Dean, who's the owner of this show, reached out to me, found me on social media. I don't even know how. I was trying to think of how that all went down. But so obviously he proposed this opportunity for me to have a platform, and I accepted. And at that time, I didn't know my voice completely. I was in the middle of a lot of inner child healing. And I was finding my way through. I was married to a musician, and he was also a real estate agent, but he was a musician, which that's pretty much like his passion. And we were going out and doing these music gigs, a lot of music gigs at the time. And I had forgotten how much I loved to sing as a kid, but when I married him, it just kind of all came back. And then eventually I asked if I could start doing some backup vocals with him, and he said yes, hesitantly, and allowed me to get on stage with him and do some backup vocals. And I had a long way to go to learn my voice. And anyway, so we were in this, had this friend group, and there was a woman in our friend group that knew that I had gotten this opportunity to host a podcast. And at that time, there was no visual. There was only, you can only hear my audio. There was only audio. It was only on iHeartRadio. So she offered me to do my first show at her house in Laguna Beach. It was a beautiful home. It was overlooking the ocean. And so I didn't accept right away when she offered me, but went back to my house and like about it with my husband at the time, my ex-husband now. And he was like, do it. Why not? Do it. Like he was really like pushing me to like take this opportunity up and do my show there at her house. I had never seen her house before. Just everybody was talking about how beautiful it was. So eventually I accepted her offer, and I asked one of my really good friends to be my first guest, and she was a musician also. Her name's Jade Acoustic. So shout out if you guys want to go check her music out. It's really good on Spotify. And so she was my first guest, 2018. And so it was a music crowd, right? Like we were all friends. And so okay, so memory lane, right? So I'm taking you guys down memory lane, just whoever's like just tuning in to my very first podcast. So we go to her house. My ex-husband drives me to her house, and we drive up to her house, and this woman comes out to like meet us on her deck. And she's looking down at us because we drove up to the house. She's looking down at us and she's like, hey, what's happening? And my ex-husband is like, you're happening. And so it was like subtly flirting, right? It's just a subtle flirt. Like that's all I really needed on this first podcast show. Like I was already nervous inside. Like I said, I didn't really own my voice at that time. I was just figuring it all out. And so I just had to like, pocket that energy of this flirt and say, okay, I got to keep going. So my friend pulls up, she shows up. She's a great friend. She's always been supportive, and she shows up. And so we're setting up in the kitchen area. It is a beautiful, gorgeous ocean view home, like 360 panoramic ocean view. It's gorgeous. It was a beautiful day. And so we're setting up the mic and everything. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like it's my first show. And I'm just like going to start interviewing Jade, my friend. The name of that show was Music and Mental Health. So that was the name of that show. It's on iHeartRadio, I'm sure, to this day. And so we're setting up everything, the mic and everything. We finally get it set up, and I'm excited. Jade's excited, and my ex-husband and the owner of this house are sitting in my eye view, and they're going to be watching me interview Jade. And you guys, it's nerve-wracking, right? It's like you're fumbling, you've never done this before. And so anyway, so we start the interview, it starts going good and everything is flowing. I remember that day, it was like really cool. Like I found something that I knew inside that I love to do, and I knew that I needed to explore it more. So what was happening simultaneously while I was interviewing Jade, and the flow was happening, talking about mental health, we're bringing in the music aspect. And while this was happening in my eye view, there was subtle flirting going on with my ex-husband and the owner of this house. And why do I share that with you guys? Because I feel like there's a lot of reasons. I wanted just to make a point to anybody that's listening and they want to start something that is in their heart and in their gut, and they know that they have something to offer. And maybe they're in a relationship that tries to suppress them or throw them off kilter or make them feel small. And if you guys have been following along and watching my shows, you know that this is the underlining theme that I've been talking about, especially in 2025 when I've really opened up to you about my relationships. And I just want to encourage whoever is watching, don't let that person or the family member or the situation or your own thoughts get in the way of what you really want to do, what you really desire. Because, yeah, that was like heartbreaking and it was throwing me off a little bit, obviously, inside, even though I maybe was like super unconscious of it. It was messing with my own nervous system. And that's the title of this show. I want to give you 6 tips. We're going to get there to calm and balance your nervous system down. But I was thinking about that very first podcast and I was thinking about where I was internally and how unbalanced my nervous system was at the time. I didn't know how much this relationship was affecting my nervous system being balanced and staying grounded and feeling secure and stable in my own body. And so I wanted to just share that with you guys. The flirting, I mean that was going to happen because that's who he was. He needed that validation from other women, and that was going to happen no matter where we were, whether we were at a music gig, whether we were at somebody's home. But the fact that he was doing that on this like kind of special day for me, right? Like he knew how much like this was like special to me, and he knew that I didn't really have a voice at that time. And there was a lot of things that were happening in the relationship where he was trying to suppress my voice. It was very subtle, just like the flirting was on the couch. It was very subtle. So I really didn't have an argument per se to be mad or anything to give him any kind of shit, right? When we were driving home, I didn't have an argument because it was subtle. It was easier. Could have been easy for him to say, "What are you talking about?" You know, just like one of those. um, just to kind of wrap that up, eventually, about 2 weeks later, we attended a party at that same house, and there was like blatant flirting with that same lady. And that's when I did have an argument against it. And of course, he made me think that I was feeling crazy. And so, again, I don't share this from a place of bitterness or anger or anything like that. I really don't. I know that I had to go through that relationship. I had to manifest that relationship and go through that relationship in a weird kind of way that it held a container for me to do my inner child healing and to actually find my music again and find my voice. And so I don't ever look at it like from an angry or bitter or a place of feeling that I should have done something different, because I know that everything unfolds the way it's supposed to. So, but I wanted to kind of open up and start the show this way because it does go back to me being in a place where my body was just super unbalanced. I was having a lot of digestive issues at that time. I was skinny as a rail, you guys. Like literally, I was maybe 100 pounds. It was just not a good scene. Not a good scene. But I did find this outlet, Talk for TV, and eventually, obviously, I wrote my book. My book came out during COVID 2020, and I continued to do this show, and I've continued to honor and speak into my truth and really hone in on what I want to talk about in my own words and my own voice. So for that, I'm super grateful for this platform. Um, So I will let you guys know what my next move is from here, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm just changing platforms. But I'm going to take a break and just talk to the chat here. Larry, are you really ending the show? I am. Larry, you're always here, and I so appreciate you. I hope you got something from me talking live. But I am ending this era of Jenna of Love Your Body, Love Your Life podcast. Francis, sorry to hear this, but lots of luck with your new ventures. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate it. Aw. Bonnie, how did you get your book done and how long did it take? Okay, yeah. So, okay. So my book was a thought. It was just a gut feeling, Bonnie, that I wanted to write something. I really wanted to write a book. I don't even know where the thought came from. It was just something that I desired to do. And I really honestly, at that moment, I didn't think I could. And I had one mentor at the time. She has now passed. Um, and she was my saving grace, really, truly. She helped me to heal my inner child, and she listened to what I desired most in my heart, and she really supported me. She gave me really the encouragement and believed in me more than I believed in myself to go after my dreams, to go after what I wanted to do. And so that's kind of how the book idea started. She encouraged me to take the first step. I I started just to research, like, how do you write a book? And it sounds simple and like kind of like duh, but you just write. You just start writing, and then you just figure it out along the way. It's kind of like what anything that you do desire to do. You just start and then you figure it out along the way. This podcast, same thing. I figured it out along the way. In the beginning, I was terrified to speak by myself. I always had a guest on. If you guys look back on my old shows, you can go to my YouTube channel, you can go to Spotify, you can Google my name on YouTube, and there's so many shows. Love Your Body, Love Your Life, Jenna Lobos, and I have so many guests on. But anyways, to wrap up your question, Bonnie, the book took me longer than it should have taken me because I was in this relationship. There was a lot of distractions that I had to hurdle through. And so it took me longer than it should have. I started to write the book, gosh, I want to say 2017. It was probably a year before I started this podcast. And then it didn't get published till COVID. It got published during COVID, 2020. Like let's see. It was like beginning of COVID. So I want to say like March or April of 2020, it was done. And I had already gone through my divorce. My ex-husband left the house in 2019. So I was really able to like focus on my book and this podcast. That's when I really started to take this more serious. I had a lot more time on my hands, and I really threw myself into my brand, Love Your Body, Love Your Life. So anyways, thank you for the questions. So with that said, let's get into tips. Because your nervous system is everything. If you really want to manifest something in your life, I truly believe that, well, number one, I just said it, you need to have one person in your corner. If you don't believe in yourself, then you need to have one person in your corner that believes in you more than you believe in yourself. Now, if you are stable enough to have that deep knowingness that you can go out and manifest whatever you want, then kudos to you. And maybe perhaps you don't need that one person, but I did. I needed that person. And the other thing I want to say before we get into the tips is the reason why I know that if you calm and balance your nervous system down, you can manifest easier. It's easier to hear your own voice, your own intuition, to stay in your body versus your head, to really create something beautiful. So let's get balanced. I'm going to share some tips that have helped me. And of course, I always encourage questions if you guys want to ask me anything along the way. So, yeah, here we go. Number one is meditation. Meditation, you can do this first thing in the morning. As soon as you open your eyes, you can, wake up in your bed. If you're alone, it obviously is a little bit easier to get into like a more of a meditate. You're already really in your most relaxed state as soon as you open your eyes. You're in your parasympathetic nervous system where it's rest and digest. So at that time, it's easier to close your eyes, look at your third eye, and just meditate for a little bit, set an intention for your day. Um, or you can, if you really want to get into this, you can create a space in your house where you wake up, you brush your teeth, you take your bath, whatever, and then you can go to your sacred space in your house and close your eyes for a little bit and just meditate. Again, set your intention for the day. You can write out your intentions and then meditate on which one is best for you. A lot of times I do that by, if I'm unsure of something, I'll maybe write it down and then meditate and feel in my body what feels best for me. So I said, I also wrote this on my notes that meditation is also really good for your skin and your beauty too. Especially as women, we look more radiant and beautiful when we feel relaxed. And meditation brings that energy and that feeling to your body. Another thing you can do along this line is light yoga and light stretching in the morning to set your day. Yin yoga is wonderful to do to start your day, or even like on the weekends when you want to have like a more just relaxed and just, it's so balancing, you guys. Once you feel this feeling that I'm talking about, it's like you leave a great 1 hour massage. Like if you ever did a yoga class that really calms your nervous system down, you leave just floating on air. There's a woman that I had on too that talked about Reiki, and that's another way that you can get that meditative state feeling in your body. So that's number one. Let's see. I wrote down try to sleep earlier and take a good salt bath at the end of the night. I know I've mentioned that a lot on the show, so that's a really good tip to calm and balance your nervous system. Okay, number two is boundaries around your phone and social media. Okay, so I wrote this down because about 3 weeks ago, I was actually in Pasadena. I was visiting my dad, and I sleep in his guest room. And I'll get to the questions. So, but I wanted to talk about this tip. So, I was in Pasadena. I was visiting my dad about 3 weeks ago, and I sleep in his guest room. And in the guest room, I can only plug my cell phone in like feet away from where I sleep. And I noticed a difference not sleeping with my phone right next to my bed. And so I ended up staying there for longer than I expected to. It wasn't like really expected for me to stay, but I stayed 4 or 5 days. And by the end of the fifth day, you guys, I was so relaxed. I mean, it's a different vibe at my dad's because I don't have to do much. I don't have to do the dishes or any of that. So that I know contributed to my relaxation. But one thing that I just kind of noticed, like, wow, I haven't been sleeping with my phone right next to my bed. And the first thing I do in the morning is not look at my phone. So my point is that I've been doing that now since I got home. I have been plugging my phone in like way far from my bed. I've been turning off my phone at 9:30 at night and not looking at social media after that. And I've been not opening my phone for 2 to 3 hours after I wake up. And that's new for me. It's really hard, especially if you're on social media, because it's addicting, right? Like you want to look at, oh, who's liking my stuff or who messaged me last night when I was sleeping. So it's addicting, the phone, but I will tell you that my nervous system is definitely loving the fact that my phone's not right next to me and I can't look at it as first thing in the morning. So boundaries around your phone and social media, you will sleep way better. I don't know, maybe put yourself on a time frame, 2 hours like before bed and 2 hours right after you wake up, not to look at your phone. So let me take this question really quick, and then we'll get to tip number 3. Kevin asked, what is the best salt to use in the bath? Okay, so Kevin, I use Epsom salt, or you can use regular sea salt, just regular salt from your kitchen. But you can, yeah, or if you don't have a bath, you can put the salt on a washcloth and wash your body at night. It salts off the day, and it does take off the energy, any kind of negative energy you took on, or any kind of emotions that you're feeling. I know that salt is really a grounding, and it takes away, it sloughs off the day. So I hope that helps you. Okay, so number 3. Okay, so tip number 3 is have a good morning and night routine. Okay, so this goes kind of along with the phone, right? Like I've always found that if I have a good morning and night routine, my body just knows that, okay, I'm going to eat dinner at 5 or 6. I'm going to go take my salt bath. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm going to turn on a candle. Maybe I'm going to do my face, my skincare. I'm going to have my salt lamp on. I did buy a salt lamp recently. So I haven't plugged that in yet, but that's kind of my next thing to do because I'm trying to create like a spa vibe at night where the lights are dim, there's not a lot of light in your eyes. And same thing for the morning. You wake up, you do your meditation, you light a candle or maybe an incense, you do some affirmations, you have, some nice, maybe nice music that you like, or something soothing for your nervous system to listen to, a podcast that soothes your energy, not lifts you up. This is not a time to listen to rock and roll in the first thing in the morning or late at night because it stimulates you. And we're trying to unstimulate our nervous system. We're trying to balance it out and regulate it. So that's tip number 3 is give yourself a good morning and night routine. Eat breakfast, eat dinner, relax. I know that if I'm eating on the go or I'm thinking too much when I'm eating, it messes up my digestion. I've always had a sensitive digestive tract, and so all these things, you guys, whenever I tell you what to do, I do it too, and I really am mindful about all these things. Okay, tip number 4 is people. People. Be mindful of who riles you up and who relaxes you, or maybe not relaxes you per se, but you leave feeling energized or balanced. You don't leave this person feeling jittery or nervous or fearful or anything like that. Any of those emotions, that person, not that you have to cut them out of your life, but maybe spend less time with them or You can protect your energy, you can create a protection bubble around your body. We all have this, it's called greater love energy that surrounds your body, and you could, maybe walk in this greater love energy that protects your energy from this person. But just be mindful of who you spend your time with, because it's true. Whoever you spend your time with, you will become that person in some way. You really will. That's just human. It's the way it works, just human nature. So just really pay attention to who you want to spend your time with. And I know that there's a lot of toxic people that are walking around. And maybe if you're in a job and you can't get out of that relationship, then all of these other tips that I'm talking about, I say pick one if you don't want to do them all, but really give yourself that self-care that you need when you leave this job and you're around that person. If you're in a relationship that you can't leave, then just carve out some self-care time, you guys, and really take care of yourself. But yeah, I was trying to think like what would be my number one tip to to calm and regulate your nervous system, and it's probably this one, because people, yeah, you can really, especially if you're an empath like I am, you can really soak up their energy. Lester, how do you know you're in a relationship that needs to end? I feel like, Lester, if you're asking the question, you probably already know, but you have to really just pay attention to how you feel with this person. Does this person lift you up, or does this person bring you down? And, I shared this relationship that I was in, and I was in the relationship for 14 years, you guys, and it was subtle. It was very subtle, and all these little things that there were like small digs to try to make me feel small. They didn't start in the beginning of the relationship. They started subtly after the relationships was I married him. It was like I was already committed. So, yes, there were red flags before I married him, and I didn't want to listen to them. I didn't. So, if you already feel that there's red flags in your relationship, Lester, then I invite you and I encourage you to listen to your gut. It's a thing, you guys, because we want to think the best of people in our life, and if you're anyone like me, I love I love deeply and I love wholeheartedly, and I've always loved love, and it's something that I've had to really cultivate within myself, to love myself first. Despite my feelings for other people, it was like I need to respect myself first. And that's hard to do sometimes because you really want that person in your life. And so I don't have any context around your question, Lester, but I feel like if you know something's off, then I would just encourage you to listen to that. And I really believe now that we have time to meet good people. At the time when I was with this person, I didn't think that I had any time. Sadly, I really thought that he was my whole world. Like, he was the only one I was going to ever meet and really love and really care for. And that's not true. And I've actually proven to myself that there's other people that come in your life and can be better. And if somebody doesn't come in your life right away and make your life better, then be okay with being by yourself and really creating something beautiful for yourself. So, yeah, that's what I'll say to your question. I hope that answered your question, Lester. Let's see. Tip number 5 is okay. So tip number 5 is be mindful of what you listen to and watch on TV. Pay attention again to what you're feeling after you watch the news or watch something on social media or you listen to a podcast. Pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you. Did this lift you up? Did this bring you down? Do you feel off center? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel jittery? How does this make you feel? Again, coming from somebody that's super sensitive, I have to be mindful of all of these things. I really do. Now, if you're somebody that can watch a horror movie right before bed and not be affected, then you know yourself better, but that wouldn't be me. I could never watch a scary movie and then go to bed. Just wouldn't be able to do that. So, or if I watched the scary movie, I would have to watch something funny or like lighthearted before I went to bed. So I just wrote this down because it can affect your own thoughts. And a lot of, TV is what they want to tell us on TV, what they want us to believe. So I just encourage you guys just to be mindful of what you watch, what you listen to. And yeah, that's number 5. So number 6. So before I get into number 6, I also wrote these little things down that I wanted to share. There's also some tools that you can buy to help calm your nervous system down, to regulate. There's one, it's called PEMF mat, and you can Google that. You can go on Amazon and buy that. It looks like an infrared kind of mat, and I know that calms your nervous system down. You can lay on it for like 30 minutes to an hour, and I've researched them, and they're not that expensive. Some of them are on the higher end, but you can find one that's lower end price. So yeah, PMF mat, and then also there's a wooden pillow that I use to relax, like in between Zoom calls. I'll lay on it, and a wooden pillow, it's like a Chinese kind of, I don't have the right, I don't know the right where it came from. I'm blanking on that, but it's called a wooden pillow. You can Google that. It's on Amazon, and you just roll your neck on that. It's like side to side, and that's super helpful. I love that thing. I just use it every day. Like even when I get into bed, like at night, I'm like rolling my neck out. Like your neck gets stiff like all day. So I just wanted to share those 2 tools for you. And then number 6 that I wrote on the list, this is our last tip, it's acupuncture. And this one, obviously, you guys, I wrote it as number 6 because all the other ones are free. This one, you would have to find an acupuncturist in your area and pay for acupuncture. But the acupuncturist will put in the needles in meridian points. If you go in, you just say, I want stress relief, then the acupuncturist will put the needles in to give you stress relief. I do that frequently. And it's amazing. It's really, really amazing. You lay there for an hour. They have a heat lamp on your tummy, and you leave there just feeling, again, like you're floating on air. Everything's balanced. And yeah, so I wanted to add that in. Find an acupuncturist in your area. If that sounds like something that you want to check out, then I encourage you to do that. So those are our 6 tips to calm and balance your nervous system down. Right now everybody's talking about the year of the fire horse and how everything is supposed to change this year. It's supposed to go by really fast. And I know that I follow astrologers, and these astrology people are saying that everything's like a yes right now. Everything's like a go. And so I wanted to just share these tips because with this fast-paced energy, it's really important to ground yourself, to get solid in your body, to stay balanced, to have your nervous system be regulated. And then from that place, take the next step, figure out what you're going to do to manifest this next best thing for yourself. So I thought I would share these tips today. So let's see, Beth, is there a difference between acupuncture and acupressure? Acupressure, I believe, is more of a massage modality. So that would work too. Any kind of body work, Beth, that you can do is going to be helpful for regulating your nervous system. Acupressure would be great, especially if you have a good person that knows where to massage you. Acupuncture is obviously needles, so you have to kind of get out of that mindset of that it's going to hurt, because if you have a good acupuncturist, they don't hurt. But either one is great, Beth. So thank you for the question. So I think that's it, you guys. I am, like I said in the beginning, this is bittersweet. It's my last live show under Talk for TV, under w4hc.com, or wherever you're listening. But it's not last for me to do podcasting. You guys can, especially everyone that's been following me, I'd love for you to follow me and keep continuing to pop up in my DMs. You can find me on Instagram under my name, Jenna Lobos. I'm very active there. You can follow my YouTube channel at Jenna Lobos. And you can also find me on Spotify at Jenna Lobos. Right now, it's just my music on Spotify, but eventually it will be my podcast episodes, because right now, I will be venturing off and doing my podcast on my own. My first show is April 9th. I plan to record then and then be up on my YouTube channel and my Spotify channel. So if you guys want to follow along, I'd love to continue to see all of your faces, or all of your names, I would say, because I won't be live anymore. I will just be pre-recording and then uploading on Spotify and YouTube. But if you have questions for me, please DM me on my Instagram channel at Jenna Lobos, or you guys can find me on my website at jennalobos.com. So I hope you guys take away something great from this show today and all my shows. Obviously, I have so many replays on YouTube and Spotify. You can always go there and check those out. But I think I just want to say, to end my last show, do what's in your heart, you guys. I always say that every single time. Really, really follow your gut. Listen to your intuition. If you don't have anybody in your corner, find a mentor. JennaLobos.com is my website. Find somebody that you really trust, that really has your back, and do the right thing. Have self-care, self-love, and just respect yourself. And as always, you guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support, and love your body and love your life. Bye.